6:02 in the Rose City. Time for Dirt and Sprague on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. And another one. He's back. What is happening? How you doing, man?
What did I miss? What happened over the last 2 months? Anything go on around here?
Not much.
Not at all.
I'm just bummed I wasn't here to break down the Super Bowl and Brock Purdy not catching punts or kicking PATs, man. The great ones catch punts and the great ones make PATs. Come on, not a franchise quarterback. Get him out of here.
No, he's not. Dak's going to make $55 million this year.
When Sprague told me this was the day you were coming back, I just thought, okay, how are we going to hold this show to 3 hours?
We go 5
there's
today.
Tales of Fatherhood that we have to get to.
Oh, yeah.
There's all the sports takes you've been sitting on for 2 months.
Lot of takes.
And oh, by the way, the brackets got released yesterday.
Hey, we're going dancing, baby.
I know.
I didn't even realize that the conference tournaments were starting.
Oh, you didn't?
That's how out of the loop I've been over the last 7 weeks.
Wow.
That I think I saw a tweet on Thursday night that was like, Oregon beats UCLA 68-66. And I thought, hey, look at that. Pac-12 tournament's here. It's time for the NCAA tournament. I watched one Blazer game while I was out.
Only one in
only
7
one.
weeks?
I think that's one more than I did.
I lost an at least we're being honest.
I'm wearing a Bucks hat right now, so you know.
That was the only one I watched, and I lost an insane amount of money on that game. And I said, no, I'm done. I'm on leave. I don't need to watch this team anymore. They're stupid. They cost me money, and now they're winning games that they shouldn't be winning.
You know, that was the funny thing. I was getting ready for the show yesterday, and I was going over some show notes, and the wife goes, "Are you ready for the show?" And I go, there might be an hour of just Dirt talking. I don't know. There's a lot of like, hey, Dirt, what do you think? Hey, Dirt, how you been feeling?
Hey, what about this take? What about that take? Hey, before we do anything, can we give a quick round of applause?
Yes.
Round of applause
Yes.
to one Brandon Sprague.
Oh,
For filling in for 7 weeks.
I know.
When you go on vacation for a week, I have a mini panic attack.
We both do. We're the same way.
I
Yeah.
can't even imagine doing 7 weeks. And so major kudos to you. I had a buddy text me like 3.5 weeks in.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, could you tell him to stop talking so much NBA? And I wanted to be like, dude, you have no idea what he is going through right now, okay? The day in and day out grind of trying to come up with content for 15 hours a week.
And I'm
it ain't
coming
easy.
and going with the pilots. for
Swag's in
half of it.
Vegas, hanging out watching Kraken game over here, man. So kudos to Brandon
Thank
Sprague.
you.
Round of applause
Thank
to you.
you.
I would also like to give a round of applause to myself.
Yeah.
You know, Little Dirt didn't have many dreams in life. Not a lot. But there were two key, like 8th grade Dirt had two big dreams that he wanted to accomplish. Number one was be a professional athlete.
Came close.
Fell a little short of that
you
one.
came close.
You're a professional athlete commenter.
That I am. I
Yes.
talk about professional athletes for a living. I'm professional athlete adjacent,
Yeah.
but, you know, we're not going to quite count that one.
Right.
Dream number 2 was to someday marry a MILF. And I have now realized that goal.
Congratulations.
I have now realized
Yes.
that goal.
Yes.
8th grade Dirt would be pumped.
Yes.
And I would like to give myself a pat on the back.
I was going to congratulate her on the pushing and the labor and everything. But there
And
you go.
congratulations to my beautiful wife.
What was your push gift?
My present.
A child.
That's right.
child.
I put it in there.
That's my seed.
I didn't pass out.
God, I came close, though. God, I came close.
So okay, let's evaluate some stuff, okay?
All right, yeah, we got a lot to go over.
It's a 3-hour show of just us today. Did you look?
I did look.
You can't help it.
Yeah, I didn't go down to the catcher's position.
Right.
Like, I'm not down there like, ready. Like, I wasn't Dak Prescott. But when you're up by the head, I was under the assumption there was going to be some giant sheet.
No, that's a C-section.
Like, yeah, so
Yes,
here I am thinking
that's
like,
a C-section.
I'm cool. I'm not going to
And
see
that's a
anything.
whole different set of panic.
I'm
when
hanging
you
out
go
up
there.
here, and I'm not going to see. And then you're like,
The legs fold up.
a lot of blood, man.
Yeah.
A lot of blood.
Lot
There's
of
just blood everywhere.
Yeah.
And I knew there was going to be blood.
Yeah.
Not that much blood. And I think I had a couple of moments near the end of it where I'm just like you get like lightheaded.
Yeah.
You haven't eaten. It's been a long day. The day was a disaster.
She's a wreck because she's like physically doing something that's incredible.
Nearly panicking at the end of it. Like, this isn't going well. It's been going on for too long. So I did end up catching a couple of glimpses. And it was, I'm a little scarred. I've moved on slightly over the last 7 weeks, but watching that was not an easy thing to do.
It's not easy, and I tried to warn you on this. Like, even when you're not trying to, it's kind of impossible not to.
Yeah.
With the situation, I remember like my wife for our first kid, the second one, she came right out. She was a fat little baby. The first one was a lot longer of a process.
Yeah.
And when she got to the push stage, she would push and they'd tell her to stop. And then they tell her to push again. And eventually she got to the point where it's like, no. And she pushed when they told her not to.
Oh, no.
And it shot our kid out, but it also,
Oh, no.
this explosion of liquids. And it got on my arm, and I'm just like, what is happening right now? I couldn't believe it. I wasn't ready for it.
No, not prepared for this in any way, shape, or form.
Man.
The day was an absolute disaster, but it is funny that my mind will work like remembering things with sporting events. And so I'm kind of appreciative it happened on a sporting day because I'll always remember it. And it was the day of the AFC NFC championship games. And I was kind of dreading that day thinking like I was supposed to do a Winterhawks TV game that night. And I love doing those games, but I'm like, of all the days you could schedule a game, the night of the NFC championship, like, oh, it's going to be tough. I got to call the game, get home. I wasn't going to get any sleep. And so I remember the night before joking with the wife and talking to the baby in the belly, like, hey, if you could pop out tomorrow morning and then be like home, and not home, but like chilling in the room by like 3 o'clock, greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
And we're just hanging, you're napping, it's no big deal. And we woke up that next morning, and it was a couple of TMI signs of like, hey, I think something might be happening here. And she came up, I said, oh, well, let's call the doctor. I'm like half asleep at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then next thing I know, like an hour and a half later, it's like we're screaming on the floor, cramping like crazy. And I gave her so much crap because we watched all these parenting videos and birthing classes and all these different things.
You did birthing classes?
We did birthing classes.
Like the breathing, the Lamaze?
We did it at home on Zoom, but we did it all.
Wow.
And all of them were like, so when your contractions start, you're going to have time. Go pack a bag, watch a TV show, take a shower.
Yeah.
So here I wasn't packed. I had nothing prepared because I'm an idiot. She's fully packed. The baby's fully packed. The snack pack, like everything else is packed. I have nothing packed.
She's like an IndyCar pit crew.
Yes,
Go!
And I'm like,
Go!
So I'm like standing in the kitchen. This is your visual, like in a pair of basketball shorts and nothing else at like 7 o'clock that Sunday morning. We had Papa Murphy's the night before. I was like taking bites of my cold Papa Murphy's pizza for breakfast, thinking like, all right, this could be happening today. Maybe we're going to have a kid. And then just screams from the other side of the house. And then the next 3 hours was me essentially running from room to room, grabbing what needed to be grabbed while then running back into the room that she was in to like, okay, we're vomiting. Okay, we need a back rub. Now we're just laying on the kitchen floor.
Yeah.
And it was an absolute disaster.
I don't mean any offense to anybody out there that runs the business of this industry, but the Lamaze thing is something I think we opted out of because at the end of the day, they can't quite prepare you.
No.
For the urgency, the pain,
No.
the feeling of both parents, mainly the mom, but like also the dad of like, is my head on straight?
Yes.
What are we doing? What do I do? Where's my car key?
I don't know what's happening.
Breathe in and breathe out.
It's
like,
so peaceful. They're playing calming
yeah,
music.
It's a yoga class.
Yes.
It's a glorified yoga class of how to breathe properly. And then the moment it's in, you go, to hell with the breathing.
Yes.
Let's go.
I'm just like, I didn't even help breathe. We were just like, I was counting breaths. That's what I ended
Right.
up doing. I didn't even like do the. It was just, okay, 1, 2, 3, count to 10. I just counted to 10 for like 7 hours. And then the little bastard finally popped out at 9:30 at night.
Oh, man. That is a long time ago. You mentioned the conference championship
That's
games.
when he was born.
Yeah.
Conference championship
I'll never
games.
forget that text. I went, oh.
Yeah, it was like the first like run back into the room in my basketball shorts with her screaming that I was like, I should probably let people know that this might be happening.
He's 2 weeks early, right?
He was 2 weeks early.
2 weeks, yeah.
And I was dead set. It was so funny that I had so many friends who told me, based on her pregnancy, that it's going to be a boy. And I was like, so by the time we got to the gender reveal, it's going to be a boy. Like I just assumed. And then we found out. I wasn't even surprised. I just went in thinking it was going to be a boy.
Was it because of the way she was carrying?
Yeah, and it was kind of, she wasn't super nauseous, and there were certain ways she was carrying.
Low, I think they say low is a boy,
Yeah.
high is a girl.
Usually, yeah.
My wife is 5 foot, so when she's carrying low, it's actually not low. And so everybody was like, you're going to have a boy. It was a girl.
It wasn't a boy.
Awesome.
So I went in, everybody told us, like, yeah, usually the first one comes a couple of weeks late.
Yeah, they're usually the longest.
And so I was of the assumption leading into this that, yeah, we got time. Say he's not coming out anytime soon. Nope, 2 weeks early. Wasn't prepared at all.
Old Teddy ball game.
Teddy ball game's here, baby. I had a couple moments last week where I was like, I don't know if I could, like, going back to work's going to be tough. I'm excited to get out of the house. And then he literally cried for like 7 hours yesterday, and I thought, get me out of here. You guys, you want me to do 9 to noon? I'll do 9 to noon. Danny and Dusty need to fill in. I'll just hang out for all day, man. Just get me out of the house,
From
please.
6 to 3.
6 to 3. I'm just gonna hang out here. Are we hiring any alternative roles? I'm just gonna hang out in the office all day today.
Well, it's not. I truly cannot express to you more than like the words don't even do it justice. I'm very grateful for everybody that helped and pitched in and subbed in for you. I really am.
Shout out to everybody for coming in and helping out.
Really, it's not always an easy yes from every. Hey, you want to co-host?
Like, wait, what time do I have to be there?
Yeah, and I'm like, usually you wake up around 4:30ish.
Yeah,
and you
get in around 5:30.
That's a funny comment that you leave because our YouTube was getting. I wouldn't say spammed is the right word, but one of those radio lists came out and we were on it. And we were ahead of a station in Sacramento. Like, okay. And there were Sacramento people on our YouTube commenting about how our show was going. And so I'm hearing from Kings fans about how I'm not talking enough Blazers. What? I then talk Blazers, and I hear on the text line, no one cares. And then tell you, whoever your friend was, tell him when I talked football, I got told to talk about sports that were happening.
Yeah, come on. It's not football season.
It was where I think I mentally broke was around week 5.5. And therapy became very interesting.
Yeah.
And it was like having the text line, having the YouTube up. I don't do that often. It's usually you that's leading the charge on that. And so seeing the comments in real time of, who cares? Hey, how do they do this? Hey, talk about it when the season's happening. Hey, man, you going to hit on the Timbers? It was just like a constant hell that I could not escape. And I went, I hope he's doing okay. And I hope the next 2 weeks fly by because I need him. I need him back.
I'm almost there, man.
I need him back.
People have been texting me the like, hey, it gets better text. And I'm like, you better not be lying, man, because this ain't fun right now. And I felt like I needed to send you like, hey, two more weeks, 3 more. We're almost there. Counting down the days.
I know we had talked before you had the kid, and I had these grandiose ideas of like, hey, let's call Dirt and just bug him. You know, when you were gone, I just had this like, I was glad you got a full 7 weeks because that didn't exist until just a couple years ago. And I'm happy that dads can do that now. And I also just felt bad thinking about it. And like my wife would be like, have you texted him? And I'm like, no, I don't want to bother him.
I thought at one point there might be something that happened that had him so like, I got to say this now, that we might get a text and say, hey, look, give me 5 minutes.
But I knew the sleep schedule.
I know. But I knew. Yeah, I knew we wouldn't bug you.
It ended up being, so the first like 4 weeks, we were both getting up for every feed.
Yeah.
Which is just like hell. Like it's just the absolute worst thing I've ever gone through in my life.
Is there a reason, just out of curiosity, that you did that?
So she was trying to breastfeed and still is.
Yeah.
He was super jaundiced when he was born.
Yep.
And so he wasn't a very good eater. He'd fall asleep when he was eating. And so she would try and get up and breastfeed at night, but he would fall asleep. And then you're like hungry 20 minutes. It's just a constant thing. And so she had to continue to pump in order to activate the milk. So she's got to hook up her pumps.
Oh, so
but then it's hard to bottle feed when you're doing that because then he's kicking stuff off.
Okay.
So it's like the first month, it's like every 2 hours you're just up. And then you fall to sleep for 45 minutes and you're up again. Absolute hell. So after about a month, I was like, all right, we need to like change this into shifts. Like, we can't keep doing this because I'm not going to survive another 2 weeks. So I ended up taking my old sleep schedule back because I'm a night owl.
Yeah, you are.
And I was like, I'll do the night, like I'll stay up because it's a lot easier just to stay up and feed than sleep for 90 minutes and then try and wake up and do it. So I would do like the 10 p.m. and then 2 a.m. feeds basically. And so I was going to bed on average between 2 and 3 a.m. for the last 3 to 4 weeks. And so that was the only tough part. I was like, I'm excited to get back. And I would look at the clock sometimes when I was going to sleep at like 3:15, like, Brandon's waking up to go do the show right now. And I'm going to sleep till 7 a.m. and be a zombie tomorrow. This is fun.
Oh,
welcome to great
Fatherhood.
time.
Yes.
This is awesome.
Oh, I love hearing
having kids
this.
is great. Everybody should go do it.
You guys mentally ready for 18 months when you have your second kid?
No.
I will say, Dirt, it goes by fast.
Yeah.
Paxton turned in his final senior thesis last week.
Yeah. That seems like it's so far off, but I know it's not that far off.
Look,
it comes faster than you think.
Right now in this moment, you're probably running on fumes. You told me you woke up at 3 today. You're already tired. I get it.
Yeah.
He is 1,000% right. His kid is out of college, basically. My kid is 12 and she just finished her 6th grade season of basketball. And to me,
That's wild.
She was born the other day.
Yeah, see, and here's the thing I'll ask you, because everybody says you look back on them when they're babies and you're like, oh, they were so cute. Like, do you fondly remember those days? Because I'm looking at it now like saying, you don't want to like root for the future too much, but I'm like, can we just get to a stage where it's like not waking up every 3 hours to feed?
Okay, so there's always going to be a differing kind of thing and maybe some similarities with people in your life. My first kid, I ask you this, what you've gone through so far.
Yeah.
How would 25-year-old Dirt have been with that?
That's a really good question.
Because I was 25 when I had my first. I was a little irresponsible, obviously, Captain No Pullout. So I didn't handle it probably the best proper way. My second kid was worse as a sleeper than my first. To me, she would just cry for no reason.
Just endlessly.
Just be angry. And I remember one time woke me up at 2 a.m. and I just looked at her, what do you want? What?
You realize how quick your trigger is.
Yeah.
Like it's, I knew I had a short fuse, and then you get to
you got to find another way to find some serenity.
I would actually argue in a really sane way, somebody needs to buy you a baby doll. Where in the moments where Teddy Ballgame's pissing you off, you grab the doll and you throw it against one.
A therapy doll would be an amazing invention.
I might bring
Let
that
me
in
choke slam that thing to the ground. Like, would you shut up? Oh, that would be, it's like punching a pillow, man. It would be so therapeutic.
I do not look back. Poor Paxton had reflux. He had colic.
Yeah, we got a lot of acid reflux
2
right
years of hell.
Just hell.
One of my kids, this is a little TMI, one of their poop would crystallize. So it became rock hard poop.
That's
and
fun to deal with.
Oh, it was great. We had all the legs up and like support, and like all we could do was watch her cry in pain. This is great. I'm so glad we're doing this.
I would also like to publicly apologize. The crying baby drop that we have needs to be deleted. And anybody who ever laughed at that being played should be thrown in jail. Throw them in jail. Throw the key away. If I ever hear that drop again, I'm ripping the computer out of the system.
Give it a couple years. Baby Shark will also go away for you too. Welcome to our hell. It's great being a dad.
Oh, this is so fun. Whose dumb idea was this? It was 75 degrees all weekend. Are you kidding me?
I know.
And today and tomorrow.
I didn't golf either.